One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be free.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken. He rides onto wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow, he takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his maximum cry. Metal in me, he will never die. Whistles report he pays his way. More legend in the making, day by day.
Oh, shit. What's good with everybody, man? Much love, honor, respect. We're back at it for another one, man. Much love, honor, respect to all of you legends up in here, man. It is a beautiful, beautiful morning up in here, and hopefully you guys are enjoying your Friday morning so far. I know the hell I am, even though I got like no fucking sleep. So anyways, before we go ahead and get into this, we have a big news active day. So the first thing that we're going to be covering in this is that there is a new January 6th report that cites the FBI missteps before the attack on the Capitol. So we're going to go ahead and discuss that as well. We're going to go into Syria, Israel, and we're going to hear about we're going to hear from Blinken from the United States. We're going to hear from quite a few people regarding some of this issue, as well as the UN as well. So we're going to get into it this morning. But before we do, man, make sure you guys hit that like button. Number one metric of all of YouTube, helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so. What else is free? Hitting that subscribe button if you're brand new. I very much appreciate you guys. Also, please consider becoming a member, only starting at $2.99 a month, man. We made sure it's affordable for everybody. And of course, it will be shouted out. You know the deal. Also, please consider follow me on my Instagram, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only myself and my lifestyle and of the show as well. We get down with our bad selves with some millennial food time. And follow me at Ball Valve TV. Last but not least, man, if you guys would like to help out the show monetarily and skip through that brutal 30% cut that YouTube takes, we have these scrolling for the remainder of the show. Of course, I will do my absolute best to see them as quick as possible and give them a shout out and read your message from in there. So we'll allow this to scroll for the remainder of the show. And good to see all you legends up in here. Always good to see you guys. We got Brother Beezer up in here. He's saying he didn't get home until 5:30. I didn't fall asleep till 5 o'clock in the morning. So it was about 5:30, something like that. And by the way, real quick, Brother Beezer sending in a gift of membership. Hey, man, we're actually having them disperse this morning. So that means we're actually keeping them. Hey, Beezer, I very much appreciate that, kind sir. Good to see you, Big Joe, as always. We got Brother Steve Pazzi up in here saying, good morning, Breakfast Club. Good morning to you, kind sir. We got Road Rage as well as Hug Dog up in here. Good to see you guys. I see Road Rage is busy this morning. Hey, man, I very much appreciate you just coming in, hanging out, and saying hi, Good morning, Jess. Hopefully you're doing well as well. We got Ron. Man, my boy over here, Ron Ratty. He's saying hi from Australia, brother and crew. Hey, appreciate you from down under, my man. We got quite a few Aussies in the chat. It's always been, it's been super fun. Let's just say that. Evil Rick, always good to see you, my man. And what's funny is I know that, hey, there's a little bit of hate going on here with the Pepsi or Coke products or whatever. But hey, speaking of, the truth is when I have you know, a little drinks, a few drinks from the night previous. For some reason, I wake up and I'm not craving like an actual coffee. It just doesn't sound good after a night of drinking. But what does sound good? Shit. You know the deal. Coke sounds good. So, is what it is.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
All right. Brother Straight Jacket, good to see you, man. As well as Brother Frank. Hell yeah. We get down. Barbie up in here, Papa Penguin. Shit. Heartbender. What's up, man? Yeah, Bailey's is good. Bailey's good. But what if you don't have any Bailey's? Then what? You know what I mean? Steve, yes, sir. Good to see you, man. Need some balls this morning? Shit, that's rough. That's rough when you say shit like that. You know, that's the struggle bus. Look at Mike's bed. We know why he didn't get any sleep. Oh, okay. Shit. What's up, Miss Lotus? Good morning to you as well. Hopefully you're doing well over there in Florida. Always good to see you. I'm trying to get through all of these. You guys always, it's amazing. Like I sit here and I'm like totally mind blown by the amount of people that like have become like supporters of the channel, people that are here commenting, listening, viewing. And I get beside myself, man. It's overwhelming. Coke is the best, by the way, redneck side. I do got to agree. Team Coke, yes, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me, you know, and siding with me. Alcohol is the devil. Hey, it is what it is, bro. It is what it is. All right, let's go ahead and get into the madness, man. We're going to go ahead and discuss January 6th first in this report. This is not an extremely long section. We're going to have longer sections in the actual news cycle once we get past this. But I did see this, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to have to bring this to everyone's attention because we talk about the Middle East and Russia, Ukraine, Syria. We talk about all these places, and it would be kind of lame if I didn't speak about my own place, right? And but I saw this headline, and I was like, okay, we gotta discuss this. Love how Coke smells. You're so funny, Beezer. What's up, Aaron? Always good to see you, kind sir. Hopefully you're doing well this beautiful morning. I know that I am. What difference does it make which kind of Coke you drink? Pepsi, Coca-Cola, RC, Sprite, Dr. Pepper. They're all great kinds of Coke. Yeah, depends on what part of the country you are. You know, some people just call them Cokes, and that's like label for everything. Like, I want a 7-Up. Let me get a Coke. Yeah, no, not like that from where I'm at. You say Coke, it actually means Coca-Cola or it means cocaine. You know what I mean? So,
Oh shit!
just the way it is. All right, let's go ahead and dive in.
And welcome back here to Live Now from Fox. I'm Andrew Kraft. Live Now look there at the U.S. Capitol. Almost 5 years to the day of the January 6th Capitol riot, 4 years.
We're also going to discuss that as well. There are lawmakers right now that are pushing for answers regarding this, and it's in the news cycle. So after we discuss, you know, the January 6th ordeal, then of course we'll get into it. And that may be one of the, like, I think the second story we're going to cover on the actual like reporting right now.
Rather, we're getting a new report in from the Inspector General there at the Department of Justice about the FBI's role. The IG, his name, Michael Horowitz, he said there were more than 24 confidential human sources in the crowd on January 6th, but only 3 were assigned by the FBI to be present for the event, while stressing that none of the sources was authorized or directed by the Bureau to quote-unquote break the law. Or
yeah, we did not authorize you to start breaking the law, cocksuckers. That's essentially what this whole report cites.
Or encourage others to commit illegal acts. Horowitz today releasing his highly anticipated report on the FBI's handling of its confidential human sources and intelligence collection efforts in the lead up to the January 6th electoral certification and the subsequent Capitol riot here. In the meantime, our friend there, Fox News correspondent at the Justice Department, David Spunt, has this report. Let's watch.
The report makes clear there were no undercover FBI agents present on scene. However, 26 confidential human sources or government informants were in the crowd. Only 3 of them were asked by the FBI to be there. 23 others came on their own. Confidential human sources are not undercover.
Only 3 of them were appointed by the FBI essentially to be rats, and the other 22 or whatever the case is, they came on their own to rat.
undercover agents. They are paid informants who already belonged to groups under law enforcement scrutiny, like the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers.
I agree,
Out of
Blair.
the 3 asked to be there by the Bureau, 1 entered the Capitol and 2 others entered a restricted area, the report says. None of these FBI sources were authorized to enter the Capitol or a restricted area or to otherwise break the law on January 6th. Outgoing FBI Director.
So none of them motherfuckers were given the A-OK to start breaking laws.
Christopher Wray has repeatedly said any suggestions the FBI instigated the violence that day are, quote, ludicrous.
The answer is emphatically
You're saying no?
No.
You're saying no?
Not
Okay.
violence orchestrated by FBI sources or agents.
FBI
What's up,
critics,
Joseph?
including allies of President-elect Trump, say the report only raises more questions.
If there were only 3 that were approved to be there, why were these additional 23 there? What was their role on that day?
None of the confidential human sources that entered the restricted areas were prosecuted. The D.C. U.S. Attorney's Office says it generally has not charged those individuals whose only crime on January 6th was to enter the restricted grounds surrounding the Capitol. And we have treated the sources consistent with this approach. The report also criticizes the FBI for not gathering useful intelligence beforehand. The FBI did not take all the steps that it could have taken to develop as complete a picture of the January 6th threat potential. In a response, the FBI said agents will continue to work with Homeland Security officials to secure the upcoming January 6, 2025 electoral certification. In Washington, David Spunt, Fox News.
They fund it all, Steve. They make it happen. And then
David, thanks so much. Let's talk about this even further with Roger Severino at the Heritage Foundation. He joins us. Roger, good to see you here. Are you satisfied with this Inspector General's
this dude is from the Heritage Foundation. No way.
report today? Does this put a lot of what is out there about the FBI's role to bed
What's
finally?
up, Buggy?
No, not at all. Not even close. This actually raises a ton more questions. So finally, we know that there were paid FBI agents at the behest of the FBI on the Capitol grounds, 3 at least. There was another 23 that showed up on their own, right? Which were paid FBI agents. And several of those.
Can we distinguish between an FBI agent and a confidential human source?
Yes, there's a humongous difference.
Saying essentially they're the same thing. From what I understand,
No.
they're not. Let's distinguish.
Yeah. These are informants, right?
Okay.
They're paid to provide information to the FBI.
Yes, they're paid to do it. They don't do it to get out like ratting. They are paid informants. It's even worse.
Right. They're not uniformed. They're not undercover FBI agents themselves. Forgive me. They are paid informants. So these paid informants, the FBI contracted for, 3 in particular were called to the Capitol grounds. And the 23 others showed up on their own. Why would they show up on their own? And several of them allegedly broke the law and entered the Capitol themselves. So if you have paid FBI informants entering the Capitol grounds, where are those prosecutions of those folks?
12 equals police, by the way.
We have so many January 6 people in jail because they did the exact same thing as these paid informants. They entered the Capitol grounds unlawfully. The FBI says they weren't authorized to do that. Where are the convictions for those folks?
Good, Brother Warland. Yes, you are. Are you actually? I think that you're actually getting your procedure done today. Hopefully that you feel better, man, and be safe out there. God bless.
Well,
Absolutely.
and it raises all sorts of questions. What did they actually do? Did they incite people to go in? How much were they being paid? Would they be paid more if they were able to help with a conviction of somebody? All these incentives come together where you really wonder, let's show us a video, identify all these people so we know exactly what they did on January 6th and whether they instigated anybody or not.
So, Roger, you heard in that soundbite, Christopher Wray, the now outgoing FBI director, said there was no instigation of violence on behalf of those in the crowd, these confidential human sources.
And everything they stand for, by the way, Steve. Yes.
Is here. The report says this: no undercover FBI employees were at protests or at the Capitol on January the 6th. Horowitz said, we found no evidence in the materials we reviewed or the testimony we received showing or suggesting that the FBI had undercover employees in the various protest crowds or at the Capitol on January 6th. So I know I'm kind of harping on the language of this, and it seems semantic, undercover FBI employee. Is that different than a
You know that's never going to be addressed, Papa. Come on, man. The truth is, the only violence that I saw that day was when that police officer or whatever busted a cap through that chick at the door. Yeah, that's the only violence I saw that day, by the way.
Confidential human source.
It is. And there's a distinction. However, there's a problem if you outsource your dirty work to other people, right? So if you want to say, look, we actually didn't send an undercover agent, but we paid 3 people to do that sort of work, that sounds to be precisely what happened. And another 23 showed up. And of those 3 that were paid, at least one of them entered the Capitol, which was unlawful.
Yep.
So FBI paid somebody to do what exactly? Why do they think empowered that they should enter the Capitol with them? And by instigate, I say, what did they instigate? Did they say, hey, the door's open, come on in, and not reveal that they're actually a paid informant? This opens up a ton of questions as to what the FBI knew, what they were telling their informants, what they were supposed to do, and of course, what happened afterwards with the conviction of J6 people who did the exact same thing of walking into the grounds. I'm not talking about violence. I'm talking about the people who simply walked onto the grounds.
And your argument right now is that those 3 individuals on behalf of the FBI as confidential human sources who did go into the Capitol and on the Capitol grounds should be prosecuted like everyone else, like the more than 1,500 cases that have been brought by the DOJ here. I wanted to ask, because I think some viewers watching are asking themselves, well, what was the FBI doing before January 6th? Why all of this activity? Because, and correct me if I'm wrong here, there were pieces of intelligence suggesting there could be violence on the electoral certification day, and that is why the FBI was involved, correct?
By the way, Beezer, yeah, W for you, by the way.
Well, the FBI has been looking at what they call domestic terrorists for a long time. And on that issue, they've been all over the map in terms of who they target. Where were they during Antifa rioting? Where were they during the summer of George Floyd, where the country was burning in our major cities? And they were attacking federal courthouses and federal buildings. Where was the FBI? Where were the confidential informants infiltrating the left-wing groups? But if there was a pro-Trump movement, then all of a sudden the FBI jumps into action to try to see. Now, I'm saying anybody that has violent tendencies has to be prosecuted, no matter what. But it cannot be selective justice. It can't be that the people the FBI pays get off scot-free.
And it definitely destroyed, good people's ideologies around the world or around the country, and probably the world too. I have no idea the influence around the world, but in America, yeah, definitely.
And some groups don't get investigated because of their political leanings, and others do.
Okay, so that is a good segue into FBI Director Christopher Wray. He told employees just yesterday that he would be leaving the agency in January. Help us understand the role of the FBI director. You hear the word a lot, independence from politics here. He was in year 7 of his 10-year term. And the reason these terms are 10 years is to, thwart any political interference from outside agitators and agencies and the like here. It's well known that President-elect Donald Trump does not want Wray to serve in that position here, even though Trump did appoint Wray after he fired Jim Comey in the first term. Why, if you were Wray, do you not just dare Trump to fire him? Does that smack of interference when Wray is resigning the post already? He doesn't want to put up that fight. He doesn't want to get it in the media here. Why not just have Trump do that in
What's up, Hank? Good to see you this beautiful morning.
Public, if the independence of the agency is so important?
Well, is anybody above the law is the question. And what does the law say in terms of the Constitution as who runs the Department of Justice, who runs the FBI? Is it the president, or is it an appointee of the president? And Christopher Wray is doing the right thing in stepping down. President Trump doesn't want him. He was the one who oversaw the raid on Mar-a-Lago. And remember, Judge Cannon threw out that case and said there was no authority for the special counsel to even pursue it. So this FBI director oversaw a raid on a sitting president, which was a former president, which was absolutely outrageous that it would be so heavy-handed. And there is a district court precedent and appellate court precedent saying a president has the authority to dismiss somebody soon before their term expires. I was dismissed by President Biden from the Administrative Conference of the United States before my term was up, and what's good for the goose is definitely good for the gander.
All right, let's talk about the pick to lead the FBI.
What's up, brother Bob, my man, up there in Canada? Hopefully you're having a wonderful morning as well. I'm sorry I missed your show last night. I was busy drinking and eating food and hanging out with homies, and yeah, so I apologize for missing it. Hopefully you had a good one though.
His name, Kash Patel. Will he get confirmed or will he not get confirmed? What are you hearing in DC?
I think he will get confirmed. He's exactly the type of person we need right now to clean up the mess in the Justice Department.
Why is that? Does he have the experience? Does he have Christopher Wray's experience?
Yeah, first, he worked as a public defender. So he's been on the other side, even on the prosecutor's side. He's been at DOJ in the National Security Division.
Not yet, but you know what, Steve? I'm not going to even be surprised that if none of that pardons Hillary or whatever, nothing pardons Hillary because she doesn't even need a fucking pardon. She'll never, ever, ever see time, ever. She just won't. Doesn't matter what she's been caught for and what she's been accused of. Man, it's just never going to happen. Never.
He also worked in the National Security Division in the office of the National Director of Intelligence. So he has all the classified information. He's worked in law enforcement. He worked at DOJ. He worked on the other side as a public defender.
Right, redneck.
What more do you need? He also worked on the case that dealt with the Russia hoax that exposed the entrapment that was going on and the funny dealings at the FBI going after President Trump and his associates, the Carter Page warrant issue, the abuses that our politicized Department of Justice has done. He was one of the primary persons exposing it, which of course
he says, morning, y'all. I was doing stuff. Shit.
Oh, shit.
You're not allowed to do stuff during an Insane Wheels stream, homie. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just fucking around. But anyways,
Not the cap.
good morning, kind sir. Hopefully you're enjoying your Friday morning so far.
Qualifies him to be the one to undo the sort of corruption we saw. You cannot have politicized Department of Justice. You can't have the lawfare, and you need somebody who's willing to have the integrity and the experience.
And as you should, by the way, Barbie, you should always look at multiple sources, not just get your information from one. I say that to everybody. As well, by the way, I want to, while we're paused up, allegedly coming in hot, saying happy Friday, just a tad late today. Hope everyone is well. Absolutely, allegedly, always good to have you. Right now we're going over what the title of this show is, but then we're going to be going into Israel, Syria, as well as what the United States has to say about Syria. It's just kind of like an ongoing thing. And then we're actually even going to get into I don't know what they're calling it, drones over New Jersey. We're going to be going over that quite a bit as well, and seeing what else the United States has to say about that. But then, of course, we're going to go into what's actually happening in the Middle East currently.
And Kash Patel is perfectly positioned to be the man to do it.
Okay, Roger, full circle here, though. Fox describes the January 6th, the role the FBI had as a minor supporting role in responding to the Capitol riot here. I want to ask, is the FBI put in a better light after this report or not? Are there more questions? You're alluding to the fact there are still open questions. I mean, it's pretty definitive, though, who was there and who was not.
No, we don't know who the paid informants were. It's not definitive who was there. We know there were certain paid informers. What is their background? What are
Yeah, and that's not going to happen either. Hunter is definitely going to be fully pardoned, which he is. But he's definitely not going to become an example. Definitely not.
Their political leanings? How much did they get paid? What is their criminal record? What is actually going on here? You cannot outsource the dirty work to a third party and then try to wash your hands. They entered the Capitol themselves. They broke the law. They were paid by the FBI to be there. That's a whole lot of questions that need answering. And of course, another part of the report is the information sharing. What information were they gathering? Could they have done something to figure out who, if anybody was being surveilled, that could be an agitator that was willing to engage
What's up, KP, by the way? I saw you a little bit earlier, but much love, honor, respect to
violence. So all these other and unanswered questions that does not make the FBI look good at all. I think they come out looking worse.
Okay, because we're talking about the 3 confidential human sources who were paid by the FBI. The others came to the January 6th events of their own volition here. So I wanted just to kind of stipulate that.
While being paid by the FBI to report on these sorts of things. So
okay, that seems unclear though. The 23 additional confidential human sources were in DC at the time. They attended January 6th events. The report says they determined that they did so on their own initiative and were not tasked by FBI field offices to attend the events there. So,
sure, it cannot be a coincidence that you had 23 people on the FBI payroll show up on January 6th, and several of them enter the Capitol, and at least 11 of them enter the Capitol grounds. That's about half of them allegedly broke the law. And that's a whole lot of questions. Why would so many FBI paid informants show up unless they thought there would be something in it for them that they could perhaps help the FBI in something?
Interesting.
Those are the unknown questions that need to be answered.
That's a fair question that he posed at the end there.
Well, what did the FBI know and when did they know it?
All right, Roger Severino.
Yeah, no kidding. That would be nice to know. Yes, I hope that you are having a wonderful morning so far. Hopefully you're not leaving already. Now Hunter can not plead the fifth and have to question. Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, it'll be very interesting. And that's what I was saying. Like, she's no way she's out. All right, real quick, we're gonna make a little halt. You know what I mean? Make sure you guys hit that like button. If you guys are enjoying the video, man, it helps out the show immensely. It's the #1 metric of all of YouTube. Helps us out immensely over here. It's free to do so, by the way. Okay, let's go ahead and move into the furthermore of the live stream that's happening right now this morning. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and make a little transition to Syria and their political transition, because Blinken yesterday got on camera and is basically urging the Middle East nations to support a peaceful Syrian political transition. So we'll see about that, because it's a little more complicated than just saying it. But we're going to go over this right now, and then we'll skip ahead as we go, kind of have an idea where these stories are at in the timeline, and we'll catch up to present.
So
this is this morning.
That there are
early.
A number of different factions in there. Yes, there is that similarity. But the different groups that are in Syria right now.
Okay,
that are forming this.
I gotta reset my camera, by the way. Fuck.
That probably will not last. And so Hayat Tahrir al-Sham is currently the one that is leading the different groups. That's likely to break down here as they consolidate their powers there. But right now, there's a coalition government that is running that area. Gaza Strip, Palestinian Islamic Jihad was fighting alongside of Hamas, but they have different goals also. So these are often, the enemy of my enemy type arrangements, but it never lasts very long.
Ken Gray, always a pleasure to have you on this show. I know back in 2003 on this day, as we are discussing Middle East conflict, this was the day that Saddam Hussein was actually captured in Iraq. So seeing that so much conflict is still ongoing now that we are almost about to embark on another year, just further shows how conflict doesn't seem to be waning.
By the way, good morning, Brother Todd J. Good to see you, by the way.
On any end.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Is that the Middle East?
What's up, Brother Lee Lance?
Something new every day.
Good to see you, my man.
Not always good for the people of the Middle East.
Ken, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you have a great.
By the way, everyone that's just tuning in right now, you guys just missed us reporting on the title of the actual stream regarding the January 6th ordeal. If you guys want to go back and see that later, please do. But we're moving into like Syria. We're going to move into the United States as well, but Middle East first. We'll see what's going on with Israel as well. We'll touch on a little bit on Russia, Ukraine, I believe. Or is it Russia and Syria that we're probably going to hear about more? Yeah, so we're diving deep into this. And then we're bringing it back to the United States as well, as a few big headlines are here in the United States.
Rest of your day and a great weekend.
Thank you.
I want to again show the viewers a live look out in
Look at that shit.
central Damascus on this Friday morning. Prayers were held, and then right now people have flocked to that city center
Look at that shit.
to hold
What's
a
up, Pitbull?
rally. Ken Gray explaining all of the implications as this relates to safety and security in Israel as well. We also mentioned how Blinken was in Jordan, but now is in Turkey this morning. He had some comments during that visit before we came on the air. When we come back from our first 2-minute commercial break, I'll play them for you in full.
Yeah, this shit is crazy. Yeah, yikes, yikes, yikes. All right, let's go ahead and bring it up because we get the luxury of skipping some shit. Now we're going to hear Blinken. Unfortunately, we have to hear him. I'm forcing us.
Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. Take a good look at your screen as U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is pressing ahead this morning with efforts to unify Middle East nations in support of a peaceful political transition in Syria. He met this morning with Turkey's foreign minister to try to bring Turkey into a consensus to prevent Syria from collapsing into wider turmoil.
Yeah, no, I did not see that gunpowder nitro. That's dope right there. I need to see that.
It's Blinken's 12th trip to the Mideast since the Israel-Hamas war erupted in Gaza last year, but first since the ouster of Syrian President Bashar Assad. Take a listen to Blinken's comments alongside his Turkish counterpart.
Oh boy, here we go.
Well, thank you very much. And let me...
These guys in their terrible background audio, Jesus.
First say to my colleague, to my friend, the foreign minister, thank you. Thank you for the friendship. Thank you for the partnership. Thank you for the very good work that we've been able to do together to strengthen even more the relationship between Turkey and the United States, and to use that relationship, to use that partnership to try to make progress on the many issues that are of concern to people in both of our countries. And I also want to extend my thanks and gratitude to President Erdogan for the generosity of his time and his insight last night in receiving us. As the minister said, we're very focused on Syria, very focused on the opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. This guy just speaks fucking right out of his ass. This guy's a grade A, let's just say piece of shit, okay? But he's definitely a corrupt piece of shit. I like that. I like that, Big Joe. Yeah. It is what it is, right?
That now is before us and before the Syrian people to move from out from under.
The fuck you talking about, Steve? Bagels are fucking good when you're skinny too, motherfucker. And I said that.
Oh shit!
Don't think that you can have all the bagel love over there by yourself just because you a bigger homie, you know? No. Don't discriminate. Don't discriminate against us, skinny people. We get down, especially me. I eat. I live to eat. You know, some people eat to live. I live to eat. I fucking love food. Oh my God.
The shackles of Bashar al-Assad to a different and better future for the Syrian people, one that the Syrian people decide for themselves. And we talked about
you too, Brother Lee. Be safe out there, man.
The United States, how
appreciate you always.
Partners in the region can support those efforts. And I think there's broad agreement on what we would each like to see going forward, starting with the interim government in Syria, one that is inclusive and non-sectarian, one that protects the rights of minorities and women, one that preserves institutions of the state and delivers services to the people, one that deals with any chemical weapons it may find to secure them and appropriately destroy them, one that rejects any alliances with extremist groups, and of course, one that does not pose any kind of threat to any of Syria's neighbors. There is, I think, growing consensus on what many of us would like to see, because it's the best way to realize the aspirations of the Syrian people. It's also the best way to ensure that what emerges in Syria gets the support and recognition that it wants from the international community, and which it very much needs after so many years of dictatorship, of conflict, of corruption, of isolation.
Yeah, what's up, VT? Always good to see you this beautiful morning.
We also discussed the imperative of continuing the efforts to keep ISIS down.
And by the way, I got you.
Stop the cap.
This fucking blinking dude.
Our countries worked very hard and gave a lot over many years to ensure the elimination of the territorial caliphate of ISIS, to ensure that that threat doesn't rear its head again, and it's imperative that we keep at those efforts. Finally, as the minister said, we discussed Gaza, and we discussed, I think, the opportunity to finally try to complete the hostage ceasefire agreement, to get the hostages home, to get a ceasefire in place. And what we've seen in the last couple of weeks are more encouraging signs that that is possible. And in my discussions with President Erdogan and with Minister Fadan, we talked about the imperative of Hamas saying yes.
You guys got a new cat over there? Shit.
The agreement that's possible to finally help bring this to an end. And we appreciate very much the role that Turkey can play in using its voice with Hamas to try to bring this to conclusion. We'll be pursuing these conversations tomorrow in Jordan, in Aqaba, with many of our Arab partners. And again, I think you're seeing countries coming together throughout the region, Turkey, Arab countries, as well as partners like the United States, all in support of the Syrian people, of taking advantage of this moment of opportunity to see Syria move in a much different direction, one that finally reflects the will of the Syrian people. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad that you kept it somewhat.
So those were brief comments there from Secretary Blinken as he met with his Turkish counterpart this morning with efforts to unify Middle East.
Really don't want to hear the UN.
We're going to go ahead and go to our second 2-minute commercial break of the hour. We'll be right back. When we come back, heading out to Brussels, Belgium, as they are answering media questions and holding their Friday morning briefing.
Meeting at around 3:45.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it with these guys. Fuck the European Commission and their little conference. I don't need to hear that shit. Okay. Pacific Islands organizations address climate change to World Court. Of course, it's just nonstop with this climate change bullshit. President Biden commutes 1,500 sentences and pardons 39 people. Damn. That's a lot of cases right there. Let's go ahead and skip through. Western New York battling third brutal lake effect snowstorm in just 3 weeks. Holy shit, look at that.
Cold.
That's fucked up.
Remarkably
yeah, that's cold. Yeah.
This morning it feels
that's
like it's about
cold.
0 with the wind. 20-mile-an-hour wind gusts, but look at the video from
that's crazy.
The Franklin fire in Southern California. We're learning people across
So this is in Malibu.
Are now returning home to see the damage. Fox News senior national correspondent William LaJeunesse has the latest.
Higher humidity and a break in strong winds giving firefighters a chance to gain control over the Franklin fire burning in Malibu.
You're seeing the end of the wind event, so everything's kind of died down, and yeah, basically this is like when we can really do some really good work.
Flames are nearly gone in some of the hardest hit areas, but officials warn it could take days to extinguish hotspots burning in deep and rugged terrain.
We have our hand crews that are out working out there already. Some of the areas
they said 3,900 acres that was on fire.
Is not accessible by bulldozers, but where the opportunity is, we're putting them there.
Since sparking Monday, the fire scorched more than 4,000 acres and destroyed.
I said 3,900 or whatever. Yeah, so 4,000 they said. 4,000 acres it scorched. Damn, that's a lot.
Structures. More than 6,000 forced to evacuate. Some now returning to find nothing left.
I'd never seen anything like it before. I'm from Texas. So these California fires are
they're crazy.
They're different
and nonstop.
Early Thursday,
He's right.
thousands
They're
in the
different.
region remained without power after utility companies launched preemptive power shutoffs due to high winds. The move left many without cell service during early hours of the fire.
We've got to address these power shutoffs. It takes us into a third world country and at high risk to our people. When they can't hear the alerts, and we talk about, you look this up on this internet site, so forth. When you're sitting in the dark, you don't have that.
Air quality alerts are
negative 13 where he lives up there in Michigan. Fuck that.
Still in effect across parts of Southern California, but onshore winds beginning today are going to help with a chance of rain.
Yeah, me too,
this
Steve.
weekend. In Los Angeles, William LaJeunesse, Fox News.
William,
Yeah,
thank
that's
you
brutal.
so much for that update. And California officials providing another update to locals as they begin to return home. So
how they're planning to deport
All right, so we're skipping ahead a little bit. New York City Mayor Eric Adams meets President-elect Trump's incoming border czar amid migrant crisis.
Migrants who are committing crimes again and again. And officials say they are working with the city's legal team to determine what authority it has to work with ICE. The mayor here says that New York City can no longer be a safe haven for criminals.
What's up, Brother Hardwire? Good to see you, by the way.
A safe haven for those who commit violent acts. We don't do it for those who are citizens, and we're not going to do it for those who are undocumented.
Photos from a closed-door meeting between Mayor Eric Adams and Trump administration's incoming border czar Tom Homan show the leaders deep in discussion. Adams says they want to work together to make the city and the country safer.
His goal is the same goal I have. We cannot allow dangerous individuals to commit repeated violent acts of violence in our
This guy is hating that he has to say that right now.
Cities across America.
The mayor stressing their goal is to go only after those committing serious crimes.
Stop the cap, yo.
Stop the cap. Stupid.
Specifically mentioning gangs that have come from Venezuela.
We're going to protect the rights of immigrants in the city that are hardworking, giving back to the city in a real way. We're going to tell those who are here, who are law-abiding, to continue to utilize the services that are open to the city, the services that they have a right to utilize.
No, they don't. The illegals have zero right.
Children, health care, public protection.
Zero right.
This is going to happen, still to be.
If you're here illegal, you have absolutely zero right. You don't have shit.
Determined. Sanctuary laws prevent the NYPD and the Department of Correction from fulfilling ICE detainer requests unless the migrant was convicted of a violent crime in the last 5 years. Adams says he is prepared to turn over those who are just charged in order for them to go through the federal justice system.
I've stated this over and over again, long before this election, that this can't be a safe haven for violent individuals.
The city's legal team is working through the details to see what authority it has to work with ICE in this capacity. But critics are concerned. There were 2 rallies on Thursday as people slammed Adams, saying he is only working with President-elect Donald Trump's immigration platform because he's hoping to get pardoned for his federal corruption charges. Others are adamant they are doing whatever they can to fight this, fearing this will cascade into more deportations outside of criminals. They're also appealing to the Biden administration.
Yeah, no. Don't get it twisted, motherfucker. They are criminal if they're here illegally. That's a crime, which in turn, you're now a criminal. What? Just because you're not doing acts of violence doesn't mean that you're not still a fucking criminal. Bro, what happened to our laws? What happened to like us, having borders and shit? Whatever happened to that? We got to just pander to fucking everybody.
For help.
To the White House, we needed your support for years. Frankly, we did not get what we needed, but time is up, and entire communities are now depending on you.
We're here to fight back at every step of the way to make sure that our families are not separated, that the mass deportations that he has threatened do not get carried out.
And Homan said that Adams is more concerned with public safety than he is with politics, and he is calling on mayors from other cities like Chicago and San Diego to act the same way. Live outside of City Hall, Haley Fixler, back to you.
Fox News. I was waiting for her to do that. Fox News. When it comes from over there and the especially from the reporting side, where they're used to being on the mainstream Fox. They're not necessarily used to being 100% on Live Now from Fox. These reporters that are there, they kind of speak to like all these different within all of Fox. But yeah, I think it's pretty funny when they bring people like her on, or other reporters that do that at the end. Fox News. I don't know why they do that. Stupid asses. Anyways, let's back to this.
Thank you so much for joining us on this Friday for the very latest in this controversial topic. Enjoy the rest of your day, Haley.
It has.
Montgomery, Colorado DA holds presser on double homicide arrest is the next one. Mysterious drone sightings in New Jersey prompt security concerns. Okay, so I'm very interested in this because we're going to go and actually see quite a bit before we get into Syria into as regards to Israel. But we're going to be checking out these drone ordeal because it is a big deal in the media right now. And not really, I guess they're talking about lawmakers demand, let me see. Lawmakers demand answers on mysterious drone sightings. So let's go ahead and get a little bit of what this chick is saying, and then we'll move on. Let's go ahead and back this up a little bit. Excuse me. All right. Right here. Perfect.
Now to a story we've been following right here on Live Now from Fox. Take a good look at your screen. The drones may be multiplied. There have been more reports of mysterious flying objects now from one coast to the other. As Fox News correspondent Doug Luzader reports from Washington.
Yes, we appeal to emotions. And that's what happens when you appeal to emotions and feelings.
Emotional damage.
I feel that.
There's growing concern and anger on Capitol Hill.
From Connecticut now to New Jersey to California, more and more reports of large drones at night. The White House, meantime, is offering assurances, but no explanations.
That is definitely a drone. First of all, a plane wouldn't even be this low.
There isn't much uncertainty among those who have seen drones over New Jersey. And now multiple reports of another
What's your guys' thoughts on this whole ordeal?
Object in Temecula, California.
It was quiet. It didn't make any noise.
I think the public has a right to know what is flying above the skies and,
yeah, no
what
kidding.
the purpose is.
That is.
What do you guys think? I mean, I have my suspicions on what it is, but I want to know what you guys think about this whole drone thing and what it actually is.
Sentiment shared on Capitol Hill.
I've been a little frustrated. There hasn't been enough transparency.
They should be shot down if necessary because they're flying over sensitive areas, whether it's planes.
Yeah, but how long does that last? It should only last, 1 or 2 days. You know what I mean?
That may be jeopardized or security at military bases.
Certainly, I understand why people would be looking at this and being concerned about it.
The White House responded to repeated questions suggesting some of these objects may be regular aircraft. Either way, no threat.
We have no evidence at this time that the reported drone sightings pose a national security or a public safety threat or have a foreign nexus.
One New Jersey lawmaker was unconvinced.
That guy's an idiot.
That guy's an
I can
idiot.
tell you right now, because the colonel of the state police told the members of the state legislature that one of his helicopters was hovering above a 6-foot wide drone, and he landed that helicopter because he felt unsafe for his pilots.
Both the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security say they are still looking into these reports to determine whether these are in fact drones or perhaps something else. In Washington, Doug Luzader, Fox News.
Doug, thank you so much. As we know, this is a developing situation as several state and local lawmakers met with state police and even Homeland Security officials to discuss this spate of sightings. Among them is New Jersey Assemblywoman Dawn Fantasia. We want to bring her live into this conversation. Assemblywoman, good morning to you.
Yeah. All of a sudden, you get a javelin that just goes straight up into the air, takes it out. Yeah, no kidding. Down here, you notice that none of that shit happens down here, ever? How come the weird shit always happens in, like, the liberal areas? Just saying.
Crazy we are discussing this just days before Christmas. I'd love to go back in time.
I do remember that.
You and other lawmakers first
I do remember that, Harbender. Yes.
noticed
Did a show about
these
it.
drones.
Well, thank you for having me and good morning. We noticed these first up in northwestern New Jersey around November 18th, and that was actually the origination. And we have a military facility called Picatinny Arsenal on the border of Sussex and Morris County. And that's why this is very disconcerting to hear a press release or a presser coming out of the White House like that, stating that we don't know if these are, posing any type of threat, because these are not civilians necessarily reporting these sightings. These are military professionals. Military spokespeople are stating, just out of Picatinny Arsenal alone, 11 confirmed sightings of drones. Also, there is an Earl military facility in central Jersey, and they
in what kind of time frame?
Also reported 2 credible sightings. We have county sheriffs reporting sightings. So alongside the slew of civilian reporting, we also have certified military personnel identifying this. So the White House is doing us no favors. Admiral Kirby did us no favors, did not reassure anybody with what came out of there yesterday.
Assemblywoman, so many unknowns as it relates to these mysterious drone sightings, and obviously the unknown can lead to fear within your own community. What are you hearing from residents in your district? What are their concerns this Friday morning?
Well, they're twofold. The obvious concerns is they want to know the origin. They want to know the owner. They want to know the purpose. Where do they come from? Where do they land? What is their intent? And we've gotten no answers to any of that. Secondarily, they want to know.
How do we have zero fucking answers for shit now? I mean, we can do damn near fucking anything. We can't get answers on this.
What is the government doing about it? And
they're hiding it.
The state of New Jersey, our government.
What are they doing? Distraction? Just to get you guys all riled up?
Administration has been extraordinarily tight-lipped and really had an awful crisis communication response. Now, I do give props to.
That's right, Jay. All of a sudden, they, a drone like that fly over our house. All of a sudden, the javelins are being sent up. Yeah, we don't fuck around out here.
To our state police colonel, Pat Callahan, who might be the only person up the chain that has actually told it to us straight.
There you go. There's a little bit closer to what I'm thinking, but not on the China side, on Iran side. That's my prediction. Now, am I basing this off of like complete and utter fact? No, that's why I'm not sitting here telling you what it is, but that's how I feel, hey, I'll go ahead and say that. I'll say feel because I don't know it.
Where he said to us that he flew a state police helicopter above the drone, and once landing in the spot where they were aiming for, the drone turned its lights off and took off, again, evading any type of identification, capture, or anything. So again, he is giving it to us straight, no chaser. He's not filling us with empty platitudes, but the state is shackled to some degree. The state does not have the ability to actually capture one of these. This is regulated by the FAA. This is federal.
Pablo got smoked by the no notification this morning. Hey, man, I very much appreciate you always. For coming in, even if it's, not right in the beginning. Come on, man. There's 0 obligations for you guys. We try to make it as pleasant, where people don't feel obligated. They want to be here, not because of obligation, though. But I very much appreciate you. Good morning. Happy Friday
really
to everyone.
For that would help ease the minds of my constituents and all the residents of New Jersey is some answers and some military intervention at this point with that grade of technology.
Yeah, we know at this hour, many people are calling these drones UFOs because it is simply unidentified flying objects. Many people don't know what it is, and we've heard all of the conspiracy theories, but I'd love to hear your perspective as it relates to the national security issue. You have people in your own backyard who are not.
And that's realistic. That's definitely realistic, Gunpowder.
With how the federal government is handling it. And they're literally putting out on social media that they will shoot these objects down, which obviously I'm sure you are not encouraging to happen.
Who said to shoot these motherfuckers down?
How the federal government is handling it. And they're literally putting out on social media that they will shoot these objects down.
Wow, the federal government is saying we will shoot these motherfuckers down. What? Is this some like crazy psyop fucking, are we using some pseudoscience right now? Like what is happening? Are they doing reverse psychology on our asses? The fucking government knows what the fuck they are. Stop the cap. Now, if they really are saying though, we're going to shoot these motherfuckers down. Dude, you put that out like that, civilians are going to get a little nuts with that. Just saying.
Which obviously I'm sure you are not
The
encouraging.
feds need to handle this, like in the case of someone needs from the federal government needs to come out and speak about this. I'm surprised it's been going on for 2 days in the mainstream media, by the way. And no one from the government has come out, as far as I've seen, to like speak to the public. I have not seen that
happen.
Not at all. That's a great fear of mine, actually. Where I represent in rural Northwest New Jersey, it's a very large hunting community,
Smoke
very
break.
pro 2A, many
Smoke
firearm
dog.
owners, and
You're the
people are
man.
getting antsy and restless.
Appreciate
And when
you.
they feel they're at risk, I would not want anybody to be rash. And these objects, they're flying sometimes close to the tree lines, and they would be within shot. And what we don't know, again, is what is on these drones. Are there explosives? Are there chemical or biological agents? So the last thing that we would want to do is to have a civilian take matters into their own hands, blow this thing out of the sky, and God knows what happens after that or what spreads. So again, this is why we desperately need military intervention, enough playing ground. It has been now nearly 4 weeks since the first sighting of this, and platitudes out of our governor's office and out of the White House, it's not cutting the mustard anymore at all.
Another great point you raised this Friday, Assemblywoman, is the national security, the homeland security aspect of the situation. Locals fearful.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, if this was an actual threat, and do you think the government would allow that for real? They saw that shit coming a million miles away. They know exactly what the fuck it is. Come on, man.
To be on their devices at home as these fly over their homes. They don't know if it's gathering information from their phones, from their computers. They simply don't know. Do you feel like the community is running kind of stale? People are afraid to leave their homes, or is it business as usual?
I can't say people are afraid to leave their homes. And, you know, the beauty of it is the winter. So you don't have as many outside activities at dusk. It's colder. People are coming indoors. But you'll hear on a lot of these videos that people are posting online and social media and even sending to my office, you'll hear them say to their children, get inside the house. So people.
What? AU says there was some Pentagon dude the other day claiming that they were from an Iranian ship off the coast. What? That's crazy.
Are,
Did not hear that.
Have trepidation. And what's very disconcerting to me, I was driving in Sussex County last Thursday night, and the law
Good
states
observation,
that drones
Pablo.
are not supposed to fly over major thoroughfares like Route 80, which is a national highway. And you saw these drones passing over one of the major arteries that connects with Route 80, and people are nervous to be driving, not knowing if something's going to fall from the sky. This whole situation is absolutely out of control.
Yeah, we now know that these are from one coast to the other. So even farmers concerned, as they might have crop dusters to, spray pesticides or something to their foliage and to crops that maybe it might collide with one of these. You mentioned the FAA and the airspace, wondering if this is even picked up, if someone is traveling during the holidays. How high can these mysterious drones go? So many great points you are raising this morning. Assemblywoman Dawn Fantasia, a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much. Any final words before we let you go?
Just again, if I could urge everyone to try to remain calm, and we're going to do our best at the state level. The state legislators are very.
Hey, by the way, damn motherfucking straight, Steve.
Fired up. We're working our best to get answers for you. We are not going to let a governor sit back on his heels or the White House, dismiss our concerns. We're pushing forward.
Assemblywoman, thank you so much. I hope you have a great rest of your day and weekend, and happy holidays to you.
Thank you. You too.
She did a good
I
job.
want to give you a live look as we are discussing New Jersey.
That chick did a good job.
A live look out there in Newark, New Jersey, here at 8:29.
I don't give a fuck about New York. New York. All right, let's go ahead and move up to what's happening in the Middle East regards to Syria. There we go. What's up, Chris? Good to see you, by the way.
Live now from Fox. The time now 8:31 here on the East Coast, and we are following breaking news as it relates to conflicts in the Middle East. You're getting a live look right now at the security border between Lebanon and Syria. Some alarming news we're learning on this Friday here on Live Now, as Syrians around the world are circulating images of corpses found in detention centers. They're doing so in the hopes that those bodies can be identified.
She was ridiculous, but hey, it is what it is.
Others are flocking to morgues to try to find bodies of the missing. Fox News chief foreign correspondent Trey Ying's got a look inside one of the prisons where former President Bashar al-Assad held many of his political enemies.
Families gather outside of Syria's Sednaya prison, still searching for their loved ones. Days after the fall of the Assad regime, they have more questions than answers.
My father, my nephew, my uncle, my husband, for my sister. I didn't find them.
For my husband, for my sister. You mean your sister's husband? Oh, okay, okay.
Miracle, now that rebel forces are in control of their country. Americans anxiously await information on missing journalist Austin Tice, said by the U.S. government to be alive. Today, another American who crossed into Syria on a pilgrimage 7 months ago was found alive. Travis Timmerman was reportedly discovered wandering barefoot through the streets, having been freed from jail earlier this week.
I was imprisoned in a cell by myself, and in the early morning of this Monday, or the Monday of this week, they took a hammer and they broke my door down.
American officials watching all of it closely. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken in neighboring Jordan today said the White House is working to bring Timmerman home. The top U.S. diplomat calling for de-escalation and stability in the Middle East.
We want to avoid.
We saw that yesterday.
Any kinds of additional conflicts inside.
He broke this, this exact right here. We broke it yesterday morning.
Syria, at a time when we want to see this transition to an interim government and to a better way forward for Syria.
Tonight in Damascus, fireworks could be heard exploding in the distance. Earlier in the day, louder explosions were heard. Airstrikes by the Israeli military targeting positions belonging to the former regime of Bashar al-Assad.
Always appreciate you, Hand of Chaos. Appreciate you for hanging out with us on this beautiful Friday morning.
In Damascus, Trey Yingst, Fox News.
Trey, thank you so much for that detailed report. Meanwhile, President Biden's top diplomats are in the Middle East trying to secure peace before the end of his term. They're hoping now is the right time for a ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas. Fox News correspondent Connor Hansen has the story.
Well, it's not just that, but in particular, the only way there would be somewhat peace in the Middle East, this is my genuine take, is the Jewish people would have to flip religions. That's the only way. You know, for somewhat peace like that. I mean, of course, there's still chaos. They're still crazy. They'll still fuck each other up. But in the regards of how much activity happens in the Middle East, like daily, hourly, yeah, it's fucking crazy. Yeah, mind blowing.
Israeli protesters gathered in Tel Aviv while National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. After 14 months of war between Israel and Iran-backed Hamas, Sullivan says the conditions are right for a deal. He believes Hamas's posture has changed since it appears no other groups are coming to its aid.
We are now faced with a dramatically reshaped Middle East in which Israel is stronger, Iran is weaker, its proxies decimated, and a ceasefire that is new and will be lasting in Lebanon.
Israel reached a ceasefire with Hezbollah in Lebanon, and the Assad regime has fallen in Syria. Prime Minister Netanyahu spoke directly to the people of Iran, saying one day it too will be free.
Your oppressors spent over $30 billion supporting Assad in Syria. Today, after only 11 days of fighting, his regime collapsed into the dust.
Into the dust, he said. It's true.
Meanwhile, Israelis returned to one of the hardest hit border communities during the October 7th attack. They're just starting to rebuild, while around 100 hostages could still be in Gaza.
I find it very hard to restart anything while they're still there, including his father, who was murdered on October 7th, and his body is still kept in Gaza.
Next, Jake Sullivan is expected to travel to Qatar and Egypt. Secretary of State Antony Blinken visited Jordan and Turkey for talks on the situation in Syria. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
See how that guy did it?
For that
Fox News. I hate when they do that shit.
Update. And in speaking about the Israel-Hamas conflict that's happening in real time in Gaza, I wanted to give you all a live look out in Khan Yunis, Gaza. A lot of devastation in that area, remnants of the Israel-Hamas conflict. You're taking a live look at a hospital, one of the only remaining ones that is left standing from airstrikes. Here at 8:36 on the East Coast, we are going to take our third 2-minute commercial break of the hour.
We're not.
When we come back, checking in with U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken. As Connor just mentioned, he was in Jordan, but this morning out in Turkey, he did have some words to share with the public.
In Turkey?
I'll
Yeah.
have those for you in full when we come back.
Yeah, we saw that.
The consensus.
Last night in receiving us.
Yeah.
As the minister said, we're very focused on Syria, very focused on the opportunity.
At this hour, this one
ahead.
takes us out to
again. Sorry, going back to waterworks. If
Yeah, they're talking about the fire still.
any waterworks district's customers have any questions, please call.
In our city, we're going to tell those
saw
who are
this?
here, who are law-abiding, to continue to utilize the services.
The answer and tell us.
Okay, lawmakers demand answers on mysterious drone sightings. This is what I wanted to end off with because I think it's fucking interesting. Just, the tinfoil hat needs to go on once in a while. And why not today?
All right. Again, those were some comments from New York City Mayor Eric Adams, but we actually do have this live event on these mysterious drones starting right now. We're hearing from officials in Staten Island, New York. Let's pivot over there and listen in.
What a sight. You like the flag? Good morning, everybody. My name is Vito Fasella. I just want to pose a question that I think is on millions of people's minds around here. What if there were 3,000 reports of drones or manned aircraft sightings over the U.S. Capitol or the White House or the State House in Albany? What would happen? There would be an immediate and intense response to figure out what they were and to solve the problem.
He's not kidding.
And yet, millions of people around here, New Jersey, of course, here in Staten Island, and beyond, are getting nothing but don't believe what you see. There's a saying that we had after 9/11: if you see something, say something.
Yep.
I think that's become, if you see something, don't worry about it, because we saw it too.
Yeah.
And the people of Staten Island,
he's right,
deserve answers. The people of this city and state and region deserve answers of what the heck is going on. Just last night in my neighborhood, my neighbor sent a video of whatever it is flying over our house. And yet we're told, don't believe what you see. It's shocking to us that here we are almost a month later, 3,000 sightings, drones, manned aircraft, and our folks don't have an answer. We're calling upon not just the New York City Police Department, but others to get involved, get aggressive, figure out what these things are, and help at least alleviate some of the frustration, anxiety that many people share. This is 2024. They're either lying or they're incompetent or they're both.
Shit. Yeah, both.
How can we, the United States of America, have this going on and we're told just look the other way? Ignore it. It's no big deal. We know for a fact that there may be some who are, performing some type of surveillance. Well, let's be honest with the American people and treat them like adults and tell them what it is.
No, they're not going to do that.
Yet here we are, standing because we know recently there were reports over this asset.
That's the message you say. Be afraid.
Fort Wadsworth, one of the oldest.
I think it's, listen, you use fear. And when you use fear, you can distract. That's the whole get down. Distract from the real issues.
Installation in the country. There was, we believe, a drone flying above the bridge. We also know on the other side of the island, there was a drone flying over New York Container Port and the Goethals Bridge. And we're supposed to just let it be? Come on, folks, step up to the plate and be honest and truthful with the American people, the people of Staten Island, and solve this problem once and for all. We're in this together. I know we have many folks around this region who are weighing in now. It's about time. We started a couple of weeks ago asking that, along with the Congresswoman, to include at least Staten Island in any investigation that's going on at the FAA and the FBI. This is not to take away from them. They didn't start this problem, but they have an obligation to let us know what the heck is going on. As I said, we're all in this together. And
$4,000 toilet seats. What the fuck? No way.
Representing us
trapped in the crystal
in Congress is our Congresswoman Nicole Maliotakis.
Thank you, Vito.
KP.
20 years ago, they filmed War of the Worlds on Staten Island. And now we feel like we're characters in that movie. What is happening is outrageous. Thousands of drones and unmanned aerial systems flying above us, and our government is not telling us who's operating them and for what purpose. I don't believe that the United States of America, with its military capabilities, does not know what these objects are.
No, they know.
And what I'm asking, and what we're all asking, is for you to be straight with us and
Not gonna
just
happen.
tell us what is going on.
Not gonna happen.
As Vito says, this is creating havoc. People are confused, they're concerned, they have anxiety, they don't know what's going on. There's all sorts of theories that are out there. And the best way to address this is to just be honest.
Trust me, if they were a real threat, that shit we would have never even known about that shit. I mean, we would have known about, we wouldn't have sightings. He would have been sniped down out in the ocean somewhere. Totally. Be intercepted. 100,000%. The government knows all, dude. And there's no coincidence with the government. 100%.
Tell the American people
what's up, brother Justin Blum? Good to see you, my
These
man,
are
over there
not
on the
recreational
Facebook side, by the way. We've got our tinfoil hat on right now, so we're not sticking to the actual title of right now because we're going through the news cycle right this second. But we were discussing how a new January 6th report cites FBI missteps before the quote unquote attack on the Capitol. So it goes pretty in depth, and hopefully you go back and watch that because there's a lot involved in that. And then we discussed a little bit of Israel and Syria regarding Russia, and then Turkey meeting up with Anthony Blinken.
Drones.
Yeah, so
these are not.
It's been an eventful morning.
Drones, because if they are violating existing rules and regulations, which say that they need to be under 400 feet, and they can't be operating in the middle of the night between sunset and sunrise. So that leaves two options. It's our government, or there's a foreign nexus. And so either our government is doing some type of surveillance activity or surveying, or what really would concern, I think, everyone, there's a foreign government that is doing this type of activity and surveillance, and they're doing it above sensitive infrastructure, Verrazano Bridge, this U.S. Coast Guard base, the Army installation across the water, power plants, ports. And so, again, just be straight with us. Tell us what it is, and let's address it the best possible way so we can calm everyone down and make sure that these don't pose a threat to our national security and public safety.
What's up, Frank?
Even if
Good morning.
it is not nefarious, the fact that these things are flying all over is a public safety issue. There can be an accident.
This woman.
There could be an explosion.
We know
There
this.
could be a crash. This is a very densely populated area. And going back
What's up, Chrono? Good to see you as well,
to
kind
the FAA
sir.
restrictions, you cannot be flying these things above and around buildings if it's commercial or recreational. So something's not right here, and we need our government to give us answers and also put in place restrictions so that this does not continue, and enforce the existing regulations and restrictions. And that means our government needs to follow those rules as well. Thank you.
Thank you. I like how she did that.
Thank you, Nicole. Recently, just a few days ago, we announced that the city, in partnership with the MTA, Port Authority, and others, actually took 70,000 ghost vehicles off the roads. Bikes, e-bikes, mopeds, motorcycles, and cars. And yet here we are helpless with these ghost drones flying above. We also know that, as Nicole said, this is a public safety issue because there were reports out of New Jersey how somebody who needed to be medevaced to a hospital was prevented from doing so because of the drones. And we're just supposed to take this lightly? With us at the state level is State Senator Jessica Scarcella-Spit.
Thank you. Good morning. One of the
No,
best
didn't see any of that. Didn't see any UFOs when I spent 10 years out at sea. Didn't see shit.
things is that sunlight is always the best disinfectant.
And I worked at
And
night, by the
leaving
way. I was the night shift for 10 years. 1800 to 0600 every single fucking day.
people and our community up to
I
their
was
own
working.
devices to decide what these drones might be, could be, and not giving the people answers from the top, from the government officials who are way higher up than any of us here locally. It's not right to us as we get hundreds upon hundreds of constituent requests and questions asking them what this is about, that we have no answer. So this is us standing today demanding an answer. We need to be able to tell
Yeah, that's a real fucking thing, by the way, Barbie. That's a real fucking thing. Mm-hmm.
our constituents what is going on. And even if you just could provide a little bit more information, is this something of ours? Is this something that you need to do for security
kidding,
purposes?
Papa.
Even if it's vague,
They just
an
wanted it.
answer is better than look away. Don't look up. That's unacceptable. And the people of New
Unacceptable.
York, the people of New Jersey, which I have friends who are complaining that there are dozens upon dozens above her house. She lives by a military installation in Jersey every single night, and nobody's doing anything. We need answers, and we need them now. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. Now, there's also reports of why don't you shoot them down? Perhaps the president of the United States or the governor of the state of New York or elsewhere should say or issue an executive order to allow people to shoot the things down. There were those who had said in public life, well, don't be concerned. Some of those people actually said they don't know what they are, but don't be concerned. You can't have it both ways. How can you not know what they
They know exactly what the fuck it is.
are and say you shouldn't be concerned? So we're getting to the point of reckless rhetoric, reckless behavior.
No, they're just not telling you shit, just like per usual.
And basically, as I said before, you're either lying or
Nothing is different. You know what I mean? The government stance has not changed in that aspect. This is what they do.
into the people. State Senate Assemblyman Michael Tunis. So you know about it.
Thank you to the borough president for holding this press conference today. You know, tons and tons of constituents have contacted my office. I know they contacted the offices of my colleagues, and we just don't know what to tell them. We just don't know what to tell them because we're not getting any answers, and it's completely inexcusable. They owe it to the taxpayers. We owe it to the taxpayers. We, as representatives of the taxpayers, need to be able to inform our constituents of what the investigation has yielded. And we have none of that. We have none of that. They're either lying or they're incompetent.
Both.
It's 2024. You mean to tell me that we don't have the means to find out what these are within our own borders, over New Jersey, over Staten Island, over the tri-state area? Completely inexcusable. And I call not just on the federal government, I call on the New York State Police.
Unreal.
I call on the NYPD
VT.
to get
Unreal.
involved, coordinate, investigate, so we could finally get some answers for our constituents. Thank you.
That's right, gunpowder.
Well,
I think
by
everyone
personal
has.
privilege. At 10:02, I just became a grandfather.
Aren't you glad we moved
Wow.
the press conference up?
Our first grandchild.
Oh, they
Riley
still
Parker.
go?
So
Oh my God. They kept going.
Sure that the flight
Oh, they're still going, even after
would be able to
break.
pick up
No
one, those drones.
way.
Investigate this.
No way.
No, it is not.
Wow. Okay. I don't have a tinfoil hat thick enough to sit through all of that, but hey, that was pretty cool. Now, what is this? I want to hear what this is before we what she got to say about it.
And welcome back to Live Now from Fox. We do have a live event going on right now out in Belgium, so I did want to pop that up for you as we're hearing a ceremony organized by the American Battle Monuments is marking the 80th anniversary of the Battle of the Bulge. Among the 300 guests are a delegation from the U.S. Senate and House of Representatives and veterans. I do want to play these remarks from the beginning, so we are.
No, we can skip that, but I like to know what is happening. You know what I mean? Daniel Penny will join Trump's suite at football
side
game.
this week has been invited by Vice President-elect J.D. Vance to join President-elect Donald Trump's
Oh, so J.D. Vance invited him.
suite at the Army-Navy football game on Saturday. The Marine veteran was cleared of criminally negligent homicide in Jordan Neely's 2023 death. A more serious manslaughter charge was dismissed last week. Vance said Penny, who is 26 years old, accepted his invitation. We also did hear from Vice President-elect J.D. Vance as he posted on social media saying, quote, Daniel's a good guy, and New York's mob district attorney tried to ruin his life for having a backbone. I'm grateful he accepted my invitation and hope he's able to have fun and appreciate how much his fellow citizens, admire his courage. Vance, who served in the Marine Corps, including in Iraq.
Oh, that's cool.
From Bergen County Jewish Action Committee.
What is
He's
this?
hosting a U.S. Marine Corps event. And also right now we are hearing from lawmakers as they are talking about those mysterious drones. We're hearing from Representative
still going
Josh
on?
Gottheimer. He's live now on their Facebook page. And we actually did want to pivot to that story as we did bring you a drone briefing just a little bit ago. Let's head over there and listen in.
It's got to be a different meeting or whatever.
Within our
Yes.
communities. At Maya Note, we've confronted this new rise in anti-Semitism with education, activism, and civic engagement. Our students know that their voices matter and that they have the opportunity to engage in thoughtful advocacy with our local, state, and federal representatives. We're grateful to Representative Gottheimer for standing by our Teach New Jersey, and then from Brandy Rubin from ADL and Jason Shamus from JFNNJ, and lastly from Mrs. Emma Horowitz from Bergen County Jewish Action Committee. Thank you so much, Maya.
Good morning. My name is Maya Joyanda, and I'm the director of
Absolutely,
TJNJ.
Brother Bob. Be good out there. Be
And we
safe.
represent the over 600,000 Jews across the state. And our community must be able to define anti-Semitism. The IRIS definition is a widely accepted term to identify anti-Jewish hate. And it's already been accepted by over 37 states across the country and many countries across the world. Getting this bill passed is the right thing to do. Over 600,000 Jews live in New Jersey, and we need this protection. New Jersey should adopt the definition that most jurisdictions already
I
accept.
thought this shit was going to go into the drone shit, but apparently not.
And should be at the forefront of protecting all of its citizens, not behind the eight ball. Thank you.
Thank you. How are you? Good to see you.
Good morning. I'm Brandy Katz-Rubin, Deputy Regional Director for ADL New York, New Jersey. We are thankful to Congressman Gottheimer for convening us here today and to the sponsors for introducing this bill, and we urge the New Jersey Assembly to call a hearing on this bill immediately.
What's the bill?
At a time of surging anti-Semitism,
with
About
ADL
anti-Semitism?
recording 10,000 anti-Semitic incidents across the country in the year post 10/7. It is necessary.
Well, okay. So why is this up here? Officials give an update on drones. I'm not hearing shit about drones. I'm hearing about your fucking politics.
Necessary to understand what contemporary anti-Semitism looks like today and identify how anti-Semitism shows up. Adopting the IRA definition provides a clear framework for government, schools, law enforcement, and general civil society to address and call out anti-Semitism. When we clearly define anti-Semitism, we are able to document and address it, such as through ADL's annual audit of anti-Semitic incidents, or by our great state of New Jersey, which is a model state and documents not just bias crimes, but also bias incidents. By passing this bill, New Jersey would join the majority of states that are already using the IRA definition. We look forward to the New Jersey legislature demonstrating its commitment to supporting the Jewish community and combating anti-Semitism by moving this bill forward. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Now I want to hear the fucking update on the drones, dude.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Jason Shames, S-H-A-M-E-S. I'm the CEO of the Jewish Federation of Northern New Jersey. I want to thank Mayanot and really its incredible students for hosting us today, and our Congressman Josh Gottheimer, a friend of ours, for doing this. I want to also reiterate what's been said a couple of times because it gets lost in the fact that there are over 600,000 Jews living in the great state of New Jersey who deserve the right to be protected, which is why IRA is so critical. It's about making sure there is a uniform definition of anti-Semitism that is applied equally across the state. It will take away any ambiguity, and it doesn't leave it open to individual interpretation. Having IRA in place will ensure that our schools and colleges have a clear understanding of what constitutes anti-Semitism. For too long, our children have been asked to play the adult in the room, and it should not be up to them to educate teachers and administrators about hate, bias, and intimidation. The legislation will codify the definitions, and our schools and colleges will need to pay attention and educate themselves and the students about what that definition and what constitutes anti-Semitism. In the end, though, the bill really comes down to protecting us and our rights and treats us as equals. I want to add that in a report that came out from the New Jersey Office of Attorney General several months ago, that since October 7th, 2023, over 20% of the hate crimes in this state have been targeted against the Jewish community, and that we are the largest religious group targeted in this community for anti-Semitism, hate, and bias. It's unacceptable, and this bill needs to pass. Thank you.
That was funny.
My name is Emma Horowitz, and I'm the president of the Bergen County Jewish Action Committee, or BCJAC. I'm also a proud faculty member here at Mayanot.
So they changed the whole header here. It was regards to drones and blah blah blah. Now it says officials speak on hate crimes. So it had nothing to do with drones in the first motherfucking place. They had to re-edit that.
Thank TGNJ, the ADL, the Jewish Federation of Northern New Jersey, and all other community organizations who have worked so hard to get this critical legislation heard in our state assembly. I also would like to thank Mrs. Neugershell from Mayanot and everyone at Mayanot for hosting this event and for everyone's constant support. Thank you also to our elected officials, community leaders, and other distinguished guests for attending. And it is, of course, a special privilege of mine to welcome my students here as well. The IHRA definition of
Well, boom. Look how it just, there it goes.
Okay, so we did think that that was going to be about these mysterious
Yeah. See how she's saying that?
drones, but it was actually about hate crimes and anti-Semitism. Again, hearing from
Yeah.
Representative.
They're like, shit, we thought we had some regards to drones. Sure. You had to sneak that in, listen, small hats own all the media. They made that happen. They made that happen so they could be shown to the masses. Absolutely. Much love, honor, respect, kind sir. Brother Frank, hopefully you have a wonderful rest of your day, as well as Brother Glare. Appreciate you always. And hopefully you guys be safe out there. Getting back into this.
Josh Gottheimer, a Democrat from New Jersey, and other officials. It does look like that feed did freeze. So what we're going to do here on Live Now from Fox, we're going to go to a 2-minute break. We're going to reset and bring you more news. Stay with us.
Yeah, we're going to come right. We're going to go skip ahead.
Last year. This dramatic increase.
Here's the mysterious drone
Welcome
shit.
back to Live Now
All
from
right.
Fox. I did want to take you back out to this press briefing that we were showing you.
Yo,
just a little-
my man, the myth, the legend up in here. Appreciate you, Jay Goldbar, by the way. Hey, appreciate you always. One of the sponsors of the channel, man. Very much appreciate you. And for the left-handed tobacco services, much love, honor, respect, kind sir.
Bit ago. We did get the feed working now. And again, this is Representative Josh Gottheimer from New Jersey and other officials speaking on these mysterious drones appearing in the Northeast. Let's turn up the sound and listen in.
As was said, according to the Defamation League, anti-Semitic incidents
There
in Jersey
goes.
rose by an alarming 103% in 2023, totaling 830 hateful acts.
So
against the Jewish
it is okay. So it's the same guy, the same congressman that was hosting the anti-Semitic bill thing with those Jewish people. Now he's getting up there to speak not only about what they just talked about, but also him speaking on the mysterious drones. So
community. Nearly 1 in 10.
Okay, I want to.
October 7th terrorist attack.
Okay, we know. I don't want to hear that.
Bunked out in New Jersey. Prince Tucker's received a D. That wouldn't be allowed in this school.
Okay, I want. Come on.
Jewish resident and other Jersey in the world, where religious freedom will win. Anti-Semitism and hate.
Come on, man.
Agency of the United States on drone threats.
Here we go.
I'll say that. Sure, I'll say this based on what the briefings I've received from the FBI, which is the lead agency in the United States on drone threats, coupled with Homeland Security and the FAA. Based on the information they have presented to date, I feel there's no imminent threat to public safety. And as you probably saw yesterday, and since this is public, obviously I can't talk about what I learned on the Intelligence Committee, but the Department of Defense reiterated that they do not believe there's any indication that this is a foreign threat, right? And I'm sure you saw that. I'm sure you saw that briefing. But that said, people have a right to know, where are these drones coming from? Like, what's the origin of all these drones? What's all this activity? People have seen it. The state police have seen them. These are not made up. People are not just making up what they're seeing. Now, listen, some of these things could be confused if it's late at night with manned aircraft, right? I don't believe all of these are necessarily drones, but there are certainly drones out there, and people have certainly seen them. And I've seen the videos, and people have called. And the fact that people, like Senator Kim, who just said that he saw them, right? And I've talked to state police, they've seen them. So this is not some made up thing. The question I believe the FBI and DHS needs to brief the public on right now is, what do they know where these drones are from? Are they authorized or unauthorized, right? Are they licensed or unlicensed? Where are they from? And making sure we do everything humanly possible and that they are taking every step, working in collaboration with state police to prevent any drone from going to places where they shouldn't be, right? Which is a huge issue, right? You're talking about Picatinny Arsenal. Apparently, the Army reported there were 11 sightings, right? Over reservoirs, we've seen sightings, right? And which could be a threat, of course, to public safety. What do we know where they are? How do we stop them from being at airports and other places?
Well, as you say that, there is a report of a downed drone and authorities in Hillsborough. Have you gotten any briefing on that?
No, I just heard as someone as I was walking in here, and I'll make a call right after I get out of here about that. Listen, there's clearly, but we also know one thing I'd say is, bless you, people have been using drones. It's not like they just started using drones last week. People have been using drones for a while, right? As you know, and they're supposed to be after a certain size, above a certain size, they're supposed to be licensed and registered.
Yeah,
So,
those are not individual
the question
owned.
you'll have is, for of these drones and the one that's down, was that a registered drone? Was that somebody's drone
Bro,
they got
come on.
for-
Stop the cap, yo.
Stop the cap.
The government knows exactly what the fuck it is. They fund the shit.
Christmas, they get an early Christmas present, they unpacked it and gave it a shot. Or is it that kind of drone? Or the drones have been reported at a size of half a car, right? And that's the question we all have. And and again, I feel very comfortable saying based on the briefings that I've received.
What's up? We got GEG up in the building. Good morning to you, kind sir, over there in the West Coast.
There does not appear to be any threat, imminent threat to public safety or to our national security. But I do think everybody has a right to know, what does the FBI know where these drones are from? And going forward, are we going to give local and state law enforcement the tools they need to be able to monitor, right? Because let's assume that drone activity will continue as it has, and say there'll be more drones here and around the country. Local law enforcement right now doesn't have all the tools they need to both identify the drones and then, if they need to take them out of the air.
What are those tools? Is there advanced technologies? I was out with law enforcement yesterday, and they were saying, you know, obviously they can't shoot drones down. They can't do, you know, you can't jam the frequencies. Is there
my understanding is that there's
coming?
My understanding is that there, I mean, federally, there's technology to be able to get drones down. And my point is that technology should be shared with local law enforcement to be able to respond and take drones that shouldn't be in the air out of the air. You know, as I said,
is that
it
coming
can't be the
next
Wild
week?
West.
Is that coming?
What, the technology?
Yeah.
This is what I've requested.
Yeah.
Right. So I've called for making sure, and this is why.
What's up, Mr. Boulay? Kind sir. Good morning. Good morning to you. We are deep in the weeds right now with our tinfoil hats, but hey, I'm down to hear it out a little bit.
This week to fund this, that local law enforcement can have radar equipment to be able to see the drones and know where they are, and then to be able to take them down and have the technology. Again, that's federal.
Much love, Gunpowder. Be good.
I believe it should be shared
Appreciate you.
with local law enforcement in partnership. They should work together to be able to get drones out of the sky that shouldn't be in the sky. If you see a drone flying over a reservoir, there shouldn't be a drone flying out of a reservoir, flying above a reservoir, or over a military base, or at an airport, right, or over other critical infrastructure, and they should be able to respond to
I
it.
don't mean to hog this, but just to be clear,
Yes.
is this the jam or is the shoot? I mean, there's some people who are like, shoot them down. The technology you're talking about is really to jam the radar.
The
But if it's
technology
an
is to be able
unknown if it's an unknown drone, what happens then? Is that technology able to do that, like jam, or what does it do?
The technology exists, I believe, based on what I've been briefed on, to be able to stop the drone and bring it down. Now, right, I know there's some people who have called for shooting it out of the sky. Again, I'm not for Wild West, right? I don't want people to run around shooting at drones.
Oh, you don't want people shooting at it. Oh, because you know exactly who it is. We don't know what these fucking things are. The government says we need to shoot these motherfuckers down. But, hey, the civilians, I don't advocate for the Wild Wild West. I don't shoot them down. I don't want you guys doing that. Why? Oh, because you know something that you're not saying. Oh, we know. We know. This is a nice little little fucking pony show over here. Yeah. This is all cat.
Stop the cap.
Anyways.
You don't want to put public safety in harm. There's ways and there's technology that exists to be able to take the drones out of the sky if they're over places they shouldn't be. And I think, listen, people have a right, but the bottom line is people have a right to know. Someone should be standing
Or some
from the
pony
FBI
show right
at
now.
a podium like this one and answering questions and actually briefing properly about what they know.
Well, doesn't the Biden administration have the power to do that?
That's why I'm calling on them. That's why I wrote to the head of the FBI and the head of Homeland Security and said, this is what they should do, right? I could receive certain briefings. There's obviously classified information that I receive on the Intelligence Committee that I can't stand in a podium and share, but the FBI can share more information and they got to give answers. You can't have people just wondering and worried, right? That's unacceptable to me that people have to sit around and worry about what's happening and what these drones are, what this activity is, instead of giving them answers. And by the way, if you don't answer it, you create a vacuum and just more questions are out there. And then more conspiracy theories come out, like I was reading about, right? I mean,
This
more
guy.
and more stuff will come out if we don't provide answers, and we have a responsibility to provide answers.
Sir, 611 News, Shashi Shah.
Hey, man.
Two questions. One is just follow up, just to make clear that you said you can't talk about the briefings that you talked about, that these are
On the Intelligence Committee ones, I can talk about obviously what I've learned from the FBI that I talked about today. Yeah.
that these
Wow.
Don't pose any safety risk threat. But what leads you to believe that they're not harmful or they're not a safety?
Right. What makes you say
so
they're
based
safe?
on the briefings, there's certain information and technology that exists where they can see what's out there. And based on the information the FBI is giving me of what they've learned.
Keep looking down,
is why I'm
motherfucker.
drawing those conclusions. Why the governor drew those conclusions as well, Governor Murphy,
Caught.
and why Homeland Security has drawn those conclusions. Right. And listen, I have to base my information on the hard facts that they give me. Again, that's to date, right? Anything can change. I'm just telling you what I've learned to date. We're having we've asked for further classified briefings on the Intelligence Committee, and this is something that I'm focused on. Literally, I feel these days like 24/7 focused on making sure that people feel that they have answers on the intense amount of drone activity in the state. And our job is to protect public safety. So I'm asking questions literally
You
all
caught
day
that,
long,
Martin.
asking for briefings all day long to get the information. I want to make sure that there's not something we're missing here, or not something we're not being told. And I want to make sure the public is being told. So that's why I'm calling them to do it. Again, based on the information I have to date and the briefings I've had, I don't believe there's any imminent
He got
threat to
caught.
public safety. I've introduced legislation, though, that says that people shouldn't be able to just get a drone and be able to use it.
Good to
for
see you,
nefarious
brother
purposes,
Warland.
right? For
Hopefully you're
weaponry
still doing,
or
you know,
other attacks
hopefully you're
on
doing
critical
good.
infrastructure, right? They should go to jail if you do that. Nothing that puts our critical infrastructure threatens public safety should be allowed with drone activity. There's plenty of great uses for drones. We know that, right? I mean, listen, the press uses them, right? I've seen you guys fly up drones at events, right? To capture.
He said on the intelligence side, he can't conversate about that, but he can talk about what the FBI side has given him. That's according to his own fucking words. Don't get anything else twisted here.
So there are proper registered, licensed, authorized uses for drones. It's the problem when they're unauthorized. And the problem is now we don't know where all these drones are coming from, and the public deserves answers. Oh, sorry.
Hi, thank you for being here with us today. I wanted to just ask a question about, I'm Rachel Sorolnik from Bergen County Jewish Action Committee. And we've been working, as many in this room have, on trying to get IHRA passed over the past several months. And you had mentioned
Crazy news
the
morning.
deadline, and I wanted to know if you could speak a little bit more about what you see the process as and how we can help with moving that forward.
Listen, there's people who are, of course, I've been working to get it passed out of the Senate federally, the United States Senate. And I give the Senate in New Jersey, the state Senate, credit because they marked up the bills, as a critical step to getting it to the floor. You got to bring it through committee as they have. And I know leaders Qatari, Senate President Qatari, has helped drive that process with the appropriate committee, working with all the legislators. Now the question is, will the Speaker and the Assembly move it to the floor, and let's get it first to the committee and to the floor? This is something that can happen very quickly, is my understanding. I'm talking to legislators, and I know there's been, and I urge you, we've got people like Gary Sher who are leading this bill and doing an amazing job, and working with a lot of people across the state.
This guy is
including many
capped.
groups behind me have done an amazing job working this. Now the key is, how do you, in the last weeks here, get it out of committee to the floor? They can work very fast. That's the good news. These discussions have already happened. Now we got to get it to the floor and get this done and voted on by the end of the year. I think the key is calling state legislators who and saying, what else can we do to help?
Congressman.
Yep. Any other press questions? That's good. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Yeah.
One
final
to the
thing.
best of your understanding, sir, are these consumer-sized drones? I mean, is there a size that determines which are consumers?
Well, there's, I think the
That would be the legitimate, I guess, worry on that. Now, let's say if you saw him off the coast, boom, lands in the water. Why can't we handle that? Plenty of people on the East Coast got some boats and shit, and go out there and smack them all day long.
what's legally allowed before it's registered is 250
Could
grams.
without hurting anybody. You know what I mean?
But check me on that. And then then they have to be licensed or registered. So it appears to me, based on what I've heard, and you all I've talked to a lot of people as well, that many of these are large, very large, size of half a car. And I believe the
Half a
state
car.
police and a helicopter.
Half a car? I heard up to the size of a bus.
That's what I heard from another state legislator. From a state legislator, told me that the state police was up in a helicopter and saw a very large drone, and then backed away from the drone, and then the drone moved away. But again, that's just what I heard, and that I'm sure you've talked to a lot of people, and I've just seen images. And the bottom line is, there's clearly stuff out there. What is it? I know based on what the monitoring that we can do that it's not an imminent threat to public safety, but still we should know where they're coming from. Who's putting these drones up, right? And
I
think
love how he is playing like as if he's pandering to people, like as if he's one of us. Like he's totally out of the loop. Get the fuck out of here.
Has a right to know. It's ridiculous. I think it's totally ridiculous that we don't have more information. It's ridiculous that the FBI and DHS is not briefing the public right now on everything they know about what these drones are and where they're coming from. That's their responsibility. They're the ones who have the technology to do
He's
it.
fucked.
And they're responsible for it, and they should do it without delay. That's why I've called on them to do it. And by the way, they should work with their state and local partners who are doing an amazing job with dealing with all the incoming on this, to have the technology to monitor and to be able to get these drones that are in the wrong place out of the air. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Yikes. Yikes.
Again,
sheesh.
Listening in there to Representative Josh Gottheimer from New Jersey as these officials were speaking on these mysterious drones. And we actually did just get a statement from New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy. And it's on your screen right now, but I am going to read it to you as I can see the print is a little small. So here's what this says. It's a letter addressed to President Joe Biden. It says, "Dear Mr. President, I write with growing concern about reports of unmanned aircraft systems in and around New Jersey airspace. As you are aware, UAS have become a standard feature of American life over the last decade, used by hobbyist researchers."
What's up, Dirty? Good to see you, by the way. Good morning to you, or good afternoon, whichever sides of the coast that you live in or on. And yeah, this is a very interesting ordeal right now.
And for commercial purposes alike. The proliferation of this technology has introduced additional risks to public safety, privacy, and homeland security, while state and local law enforcement entities remain hamstrung by existing laws and policies to successfully counteract them, leaving action around UAS squarely on the shoulders of the federal government. And then this does go on to say a bit more. But again, many lawmakers now calling on the government to provide more answers, so to speak, on these flying mysterious drones and where they're coming from. And we've seen them popping up around the Northeast. Again, Fox News now reporting they were seen in Connecticut most recently last night as well. We are going to dip away for a 2-minute break here on Live Now from Fox. We do have another live event starting right now at the White House with First Lady Jill Biden.
No, I don't care
and the
about
United
her.
States Marine Corps. We'll be right back.
Yeah, I could care less about what Jill Biden's doing. Could care less. Totally irrelevant. Irrelevant voice. 100%. Anyways, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I very much appreciate you guys hanging out with me this beautiful morning. Hopefully you guys have a blessed, rest of your day, as well as check it out. If you guys are members, man, remember this, tomorrow morning, every single Saturday, 10 a.m. CST. Okay, that's 11 a.m. EST. We go members only Breakfast Club live for you guys. You know what I mean? And we have quite a bit of a good time over there. Just ask any of the Breakfast Club. They'll tell you we get a little rowdy over there, and we always have a good time. So anyways, with that being said, hang around for the raid, man. We're going to raid our friend Jess over there. Much love, honor, respect to all of you guys. And we'll see you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend as well. Much love.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning in his soul, with a heart steel and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow, he takes his stand, refusing to submit.